We know from your letters that one of the most popular features of Hollywood Backstage is always going on the set and watching them make a motion picture. Well, we've got a motion picture for you right now we want you to take a look at. They're making Who's Minding the Mint.
All I said to this fellow was, lend me $1, will you? So he says, go over to that movie set. They have a whole lot of money over there. So I did. I ran into this bunch of guys who looked kind of familiar. One looked like Joey Bishop, one like Jack Gilford, one like Walter Brennan, and the fourth guy looked like George Washington dressed up like Milton Berle. And there was a fellow at a printing press doing something he shouldn't be doing. I didn't want any of those dollars anyway. All I want's a real $1 bill. Somebody around here must have one little dollar. I found out that they were making a movie called Who's Minding the Mint for Columbia Pictures. And these guys really were Walter Brennan and Jack Gilford. And some of the money around here was fake and some of it was real. My only problem was I didn't know which was which. I hope they knew. To sometime be watching a television show. I wonder how I can get one of those machines. This little beauty is Dorothy Provine, who's the female star of the picture, and it looks like they're putting fingerprint remover on her. It's that kind of a picture, friends. I would have asked her for $1, but it isn't nice to borrow money from ladies. It's embarrassing. I saw two other guys who looked like likely prospects. Jim Hutton, who's another star of the picture, and the guy who's the director, Howard Morris. You know Howie. He's the funny little guy who used to be on television. Well, they couldn't lend me $1, so I went back to George Washington, who was with a publicity guy named Jim Bacon. I thought George might have a lot of bucks because his picture's on the dollar bill. But no soap. I had to wait a few minutes because Dorothy Provine and Jim Hutton were rehearsing a scene, and the director or somebody yelled, "Quiet on the set." But I knew everybody here was rich, even the cameraman smoking a big cigar. I checked with Mickey Manners and Burl's brother Jack playing a police guard, but no luck there either. This fella's still watching television. He's got a great job. While these three guys go through a routine for the picture, which means it's going to be a very funny movie. This was a fine time to hit Joey up for $1, but he was too busy counting. $1,022,000, $1,023,000. They tried to get him to stop, but he was really in there. $1,024,000, $1,022,000. This guy, I wasn't going to ask for anything. That's a real gun. I found out what the police guy was watching on television. Because they had so much real money floating around, they had TV cameras all over the set to keep an eye on everything that was going on. The only thing is that it was all so good they sold the TV show to a sponsor, and it's going to be on next season. By the way, I should tell you that in addition to the stars you've already seen, like Dorothy Provine, Walter Brennan, and Jim Hutton, some of the other very important characters in this picture include Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, and Alexander Hamilton, who's not related to George, and the movie is being photographed in stunning green. And with a cast like that, Joey Bishop is on his best behavior in the true tradition of the Boy Scouts. But if I was an old lady trying to cross the street, I'd forget about it. Hanging around here so long, I found out that the picture's about this guy Jim Hutton, who's trying to separate the U.S. Mint from $7 million. He gets help from guys like Joey Bishop, Jack Gilford, Walter Brennan, and Milton Berle. And A lot of the scenes were done in Washington, D.C., where the real Mint is. But now they come back to Hollywood for the interior shots, and they brought some of the real money back with them. I was wondering why they had an armored car waiting outside. Anyway, in the movie, this Jim Hutton burns $50,000 of the government's money by mistake. And the story's about how he's going to replace it, which includes a plan to make it, which is why they had the printing press on the set. Only nobody told Joey Bishop what it is. He thinks it's a clothes presser. Milton Berle walks around with this box filled with money most of the time because it was his own money. And Joey Bishop was really stuck in that machine. And there was word around that he was getting a citation from the Boy Scouts for having the best pressed kerchief. It looked like making this picture was almost as funny as the movie itself. And let me tell you that being here was a terrible temptation for an honest guy like me, but they had guys from the U.S. government here on the set counting the real money. If they lost some of the money by accident, they'd have to go through the whole routine the movie's about, and then make a movie about that, and then it could be very confusing. Nobody figured how to get Joey out of that thing yet. 1,202,000, 1,203,000. Well, they're getting ready to shoot a scene, and sometimes instead of saying action, the director says, roll him. Boy, is Joey in trouble. If you happen to have a $10 bill with Joey Bishop's picture on it, you know where it came from.